Understanding nutrition labels and making informed decisions when it comes to our food is hands down one of the best things we can do starting right now, today, that can literally transform our lives. So, in this video, let's talk about how to identify imposters. Food-like products, otherwise known as processed foods, and how understanding nutrition facts is key to living a healthier lifestyle, feeling happier, more energized, and much more. Welcome to All Sauce Matters, your source for all things all sauce. What's up, everybody? I'm Uncle Brother. I make award-winning all sauce, and I'm a radical self-care extremist. And thank you so much for choosing to watch this video. Please take a moment to hit the like button, and also be sure to share this video with your friends and loved ones, especially those you think may benefit from this information. As you know, a big part of my mission as you be the radical self-care extremist is to bring awareness to the facts. Nutrition facts, that is. There's a growing number of imposters out there. Food-like products only pretending to be food, making it so very important now more than ever that we know our food and what we're putting in our bodies. That's why I'm also inviting you to take advantage of this exclusive offer and get your free copy of Decoding Food Labels and Nutrition Facts from our new website, healthradicals.com. This comprehensive guide will help you understand complex nutrition facts and give you the information you need to make the right choices when it comes to food. Don't wait another moment. Visit healthradicals.com right now to get your free copy and start living a healthier life. Okay. Nutrition labels can be our best friends when it comes to understanding what we're eating and doing our best to stay healthy. Once you understand the facts, serving sizes, and percentages, you can make more informed decisions about what to put or avoid on your plate. Whether you're tracking your daily intake for weight loss, following a strict diet for a medical condition, or just trying to make healthy choices, nutrition labels can provide the information one needs to make the best decision. This video is all about taking the right steps to make healthier food choices and eliminate processed foods from our diets. By making healthier food choices and reducing the amount of processed foods we consume, we can drastically improve our health and well-being. Additionally, understanding how to make healthy food choices and taking action to eliminate processed foods from our diet can help us reach goals, feel happier, and more energized. You've got to admit, those are all great reasons to get the 411 on how to make healthier food choices and eliminate processed foods, right? So, if you're interested in taking steps to improve your health, you're about to find out how. Sound good? Great. All right, so let's get into it. More and more, I find that navigating nutrition labels can be a problem for many people. We might not understand the facts, serving sizes, and percentages listed on them, preventing us from making the best choices for our health. Making healthy decisions is important for everyone, whether we're trying to lose weight, following a specific diet, or just want to feel better. Fortunately, with the help of nutrition labels, we can make healthier choices when it comes to our diet. Knowing our body's needs and how to read labels can help us maximize our health and well-being. Additionally, taking steps to reduce the amount of processed foods we consume and making better food choices is essential for reaching goals, feeling happier, and having more energy. One of the most important aspects of reading nutrition labels is being aware of the presence of fats and sugars. Understanding how to read labels is essential in making sure you are getting the right balance of fat, sugar, and other nutrients in your diet and avoiding the risks associated with overconsumption. Ever heard of a PUFA? No, I'm not talking about some old hairdo from back in the day. The importance of knowing and understanding the amount and type of polyunsaturated fatty acids, PUFAs, P-U-F-A, used in products is increasingly being recognized. Studies have shown that consuming foods with a high amount of PUFAs can lead to an increased risk of obesity and other chronic diseases. Additionally, as PUFAs can be included in food without any indication on the label, it is important to be aware and research products in order to make sure they are not compromising one's health. This is why it is critical to equip oneself with the necessary knowledge and understand the risks involved with the consumption of PUFAs. Furthermore, it is crucial to pay attention to labels, compare different products, and make smarter food choices that enhance one's physical and mental well-being. I know I go on and on and on about sugar, but did you know that sugar is often hidden on food labels under many different names? High fructose corn syrup, sucrose, raw sugar, honey, agave, nectar, and barley malt are just some of the names it can go by. Now, I'm not saying that all of the things I just named are all bad, but unfortunately, added sugar is in many foods and beverages that you might not expect, from food juices to granola bars and even yogurts. This added sugar can lead to a variety of health problems such as diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and tooth decay. Okay, so we've covered how navigating nutrition labels can be tricky and how understanding them is key to making healthier food choices and improving our health. Knowing how to read and decipher nutrition facts is essential to identifying imposters and food-like products and eliminating processed foods from our diets. Bottom line, understanding a product's nutrition facts label, which includes knowing how to check for hidden sugar content, as well as what is excessive when it comes to PUFAs and how serving sizes come into play, can help us with making better decisions on our path to creating a healthier lifestyle. So I bet by now you're probably thinking, hey, UB, are we ever going to see this amazing guide? Right. So how about I take a moment to give you a peek at just what you'll be getting. Okay, check this out. This is the Decoding Food Labels and Nutrition Facts Guide. Just look at this. This guide is one incredibly valuable resource for anyone looking to make informed decisions when it comes to their eating habits. This is a comprehensive guide that offers an in-depth look at food labels and nutrition facts, and it also provides an easy-to-understand overview of key ingredients and health benefits. With Decoding Food Labels and Nutrition Facts, you'll be armed with the knowledge to make informed choices when it comes to the foods you're consuming. When it comes to understanding incomprehensible food labels, Health Radical's Decoding Food Labels and Nutrition Facts Guide can make it a breeze. Choosing to download this guide is an excellent decision that shows how seriously you take your family's health and well-being. By understanding food labels better, it will be easier to make healthier food choices that have a more positive impact on your health. This guide will help you to make those more informed decisions and make sure that you are consuming food that is nourishing for your body and mind. So don't wait another second. Visit healthradicals.com right now. Download your free copy of our Coding Food Labels and Nutrition Facts Guide today so you can start making a difference in your health and wellness ASAP. Okay, well, that's going to about do it for this video, so you know what that means. This is when I let you know just how much I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's all appreciated. It's all love. It's All Sauce Matters. Your source for all things all sauce. I'm Uncle Brother. I make award-winning all sauce, and I'm a radical self-care extremist. Catch you next time.